Tiffany, welcome back, or welcome if you've never been here before, and welcome to Vlogmas Day 5. I'm very excited because it's Sophie Lark Day, okay? It's Anastasia Day. I am planning on watching the film first and then reading the book. It drops at midnight. And also Cate dropped her little holiday novella, so that was a treat. That's gonna be the novella of the day. I started it, and she's 19, it's an age gap, forbidden. We know Cate, so that should be fun. I'll make sure to get that in. And then because of the little minx Christy, during reading sprints, was that yesterday? Oh my gosh, already. I'm wedging a book in. I will be reading 'Tis the Season for Revenge. So I want to try to get that in before Anastasia, because once that starts, all bets are off. It's going to be at home. She's long. It's supposed to be a full-on fantasy, and I cannot wait. It's one of my highly anticipated reads of the year. It feels like Christmas. Like, I'm so excited about it. So I am going to open my bookish habit pick, and I've already been drinking this coffee. Like this, which one is it? Oh my God, the cranberry creme brulee. It's so, and it tastes like cranberry, and it's like creamy almost, if that makes sense. I've literally added nothing to it. No whipped cream, no creamer. It's that good. So I'm gonna open this up so I kind of know what I'm gonna be reading after. Sophie also dropped the novella on Patreon about Rasputin. So I downloaded that really quickly as well. Like, there are just so many goodies today. I cannot. I'm already getting really comfortable with the PJs on here, but I'm excited to open up my next book, and then I might have to double up some days, okay? Because wedging in books and all these new releases, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get to everything, so I'm just excited because it's like Christmas every day. I'm so glad that I did this. Oh, yes. Yes. Thank you, Christy, from Christy Reads a Lot. I call her the Vault. She has such an extensive amount of knowledge sitting around romance, and it just, her page is stunning. The way that she reviews, she can get in and out. I'm long-winded, okay? Christy can give you the trope, tell you what she likes, tell you what she doesn't like. And I just love her. I got to meet her this year, okay, in person at Wanderlust, and that is where she gave me this book. And I was really excited about it because I know that Rachel from Rachel Reads and Sings likes this book as well. And so I will be reading this. As soon as I'm done with Anastasia. Thank you so much, Christy. She actually gave me this, the third book in the Wayward Children series, which is a dark fantasy series. Okay, her and Jen got me all the way together with that series. And I'm just really thankful for all the books that were sent to me this year. So it's fun to open them up and remember everybody. So thank you. I cannot wait. And I believe, yeah, she's a gothic romance writer, and he's a single daddy duke. So this should be fun. I'm going to start with Cate. I'm going to make my way through 'Tis the Season for Revenge, and then I'm going to make my way back here where we can start watching the film Anastasia. We can do some baking and get into it. I would like to get the physical copy as well. I'm gonna check if my Barnes & Noble has it, because now they've got Sophie Lark. Now they have Sophie. When I went there to go try to get Stolen Air, they didn't have it. And now they have her. And I'm just so excited about it. Happy reading. I will not be giving spoilers in this vlog. I'm just going to hit broad strokes when it comes to Anastasia. And so I'm just excited. I'm just excited. I will see you in the B-roll and in the next clip, buddy. Oh, and it's floppy. I love that. To do this. I did not mean to freaking sleep, okay, as long as I did. It's like midnight. Anastasia's already on my iPad. I meant to, like, you know, give you updates about the season for Revenge, and it's okay. Like, I slept because I knew I was gonna be up, and I have to talk to you about this book because, thank you, Christy. This is like a sneak attack 5-star read. And what it is the way in which the hero sees and cares for the heroine. And it is Abby's journey back to self that really got me with this book. Abby was in a relationship where she completely withered away in order to become the version that she thought Richard wanted. I'm talking down to hair color and clothing, persona, and her big, I don't know, nod to that relationship would have been being invited to his law firm's Christmas party. You know, that was like the show of faith, the move that would show her and tell her that all of her efforts were leading to something serious, marriage. And when this book opens, she is supposed to go with him to a Halloween party. She dresses up like a bunny, very Legally Blonde, right? And he dumps her. She's not serious enough, okay, for his law career. And of course she's heartbroken, and she's swiping on Tinder and matches with his boss, okay, Damian Martinez, and sets out on this plot with her hilarious and loving friends to screw his boss for revenge and get invited to that Christmas party, okay, so that he knows what he lost. And what really moved me about this book is that it has a revenge plot, which in my opinion lends to the assumption that she's going to have to don another persona. And yet it is so counter to that. It is her being more aligned with herself. And in that, Damian loves every single part of it. And it is so crazy to me that I find this hero to be incredibly swoony, and just the fact that he treats her with dignity and respect and like a queen. He treats her right, like, and to the point where she starts to recognize the treatment that she has been putting up with for the past 4 years, and they fall. Oh my God, he is such a stern brunch daddy, a cinnamon roll, but an alpha in the steam as well. It's very spicy. He's absolutely obsessed with all things Abby. And they set out for it to just be, you know, no strings attached. He's busy. He's not looking for anything serious while he's taking like pro bono cases for domestic violence survivors. I mean, he is a dream. And just through her time with him, she has this like slow journey back to self because of his care. And I absolutely loved it. The third act conflict in this is stand out. It is stand out because there are moments within it that you can tell her arc was arrived at because of the way that he treats her. And there's a great groveling moment on the part of the heroine, the way that the hero responds. I mean, this is such an amazing book. I think I would have loved it at any point, okay? Like, I kind of need a physical copy. It was so affirming. There are just notes in here in terms of like beats and in terms of dialogue that I will cherish just as a woman. You know, I could really relate to that loss of self. And it was just beautiful. I love Damien, okay? He's the kind of hero that I just want to read about. He just is gone for her and treats her right, treats her well, and almost teaches her as to how she should be treated. It's just freaking amazing. Emotionally intelligent. He was sexy. Okay. Oh my gosh. I also read The Naughty List by Sara Cate. I've been busy. Okay. I've been busy and I've been asleep. The Naughty List by Sara Cate was like kind of a little like Christmas drop I knew nothing about, and I was so happy about it. We know that she does the forbidden so well. This is an age gap between a young heroine, she's 19, and her new uncle, because her mother got remarried, her mother's all in love, her mother is distant, her mother doesn't see her, and she's kind of like trudging through this like holiday get together back from the law program that she doesn't want to be in, that she's only doing for her mother, and her new uncle is there, and it's their romance. And he's reluctant to take the plunge, obviously, because it's inappropriate, but finds her to be a breath of fresh air, a spark. Their like chemistry is just undeniable. The questions that he asks of her, or the way in which he advocates for her, allows her to have a voice when it comes to her mother. So I really enjoyed The Naughty List, okay? It was good, okay? Thank you, Sara Cate, okay? So that's going on the list. Like, this was a fun age gap, you know, festive time. And like, you know, enlightening for her. Anyway, so I enjoyed those. I'm going to get my spread together, okay, for Anastasia and get going here. Even though it's already on my iPad, I am going to still watch the movie because I want to get those little Easter eggs. I know that she's going to be plopping them in there, and I kind of just want to be in the rapture of it, and also see, because what I love about Sophie Lark is that she's fresh. She's going to have a completely different take from the movie. I know she's not pulling stuff from there. She'll have nods so that it will be fun. And I know it's going to be an experience. All of the illustrations. I cannot wait. And that playlist. This is going to be a moment. And so I really just want to like glean the joy, soak everything up, and see the new thing that she's doing. That's kind of really what I want to track, because I know she's going to deliver on that. So I'll be back, okay? I will be back with updates. I'm so excited. Vlogging. These blue light blockers are a lifesaver. I highly suggest you pick some up because my eyes have been through the gauntlet. Now I have to start heading out to get my nails done. I just want to preface all of my updates for Anastasia by saying that I am not going to be going into major plot points. I have a lot of friends who aren't picking this up yet. I will be talking about characterization, and if you've been here, you know I am a hoe for a good quote. So I will be diving into those out of context and hitting broad strokes. I have made the executive decision to not binge this all night, okay? I needed to do some editing, and when I first started it, it's just a cinematic experience. Like, I'm letting it wash over me. It's so good. And starting through the lens of her being a child and all of her characteristics, being observant, being mischievous, being curious. I'm just loving this full-fledged, well-researched and intricate world. I mean, no, it's not info dumpy. You're, oh my gosh, it's very good. And I'm heading out, and I've decided to just read it throughout the day. I'm not wedging anything else in front of it. I won't be giving away spoilers, but I started it, put it down, got some editing done. I've picked it back up. There are 6 parts to this. I am on part 3. So I'll be back. I just wanted to pop in because I'm about to head out to this nail appointment. I want to go to Barnes and Nobles and pick up the physical copy. So I just needed to like give you an update before we change the clause. I was like 2 seconds away from throwing on a PJ set, and I realized I need to give you an update now, okay? Because I was rushing out of the house to get my nails done when I stopped at Barnes & Noble and saw that they didn't have Anastasia physically. I was able to just get it online while I was in the store, so you can definitely do that. I'm not sure when I'm actually going to close this vlog out, but you can get it through Barnes & Noble because I don't know what Amazon is doing. We aren't going to focus on that. We're just going to help her get her numbers in Barnes & Noble. So that's what I did. I was really excited to even see that they have her there. I remember going to this, Barnes & Noble near my house, and they didn't have Sophie at all. And now they've got Brutal Prince, they have Stolen Air, and I'm just like so happy about it. So I was able to get it online. You can too. Also, there's going to be a live show with Sophie on Jess's channel. I'm so excited about it. So I can't wait to see or hear about how it's been for her on release day. I'm sure bonkers, because again, I don't know what Amazon's doing, but I want to make sure that I'm at least, reading it on Kindle Unlimited. I got the physical copy, doing what I can as a freaking fan, and I'm loving it. I finally get to sit down and talk about this. I promised not to get granular and to just hit broad strokes, so I will do that. I'm also going to share what I got from Barnes & Noble because I thought it was really cute. Now, I don't think that they watch my channel, so it's probably safe, but it shouldn't matter. This is for my cousin's baby girl, and I thought it was so cute. So Nightmare Before Christmas, but with this edition, you can record reading it. So I thought it would be so sweet to give it to them this year. They can record themselves reading the story, and she'll always have it. I just thought this was super, super cute. So hopefully she enjoys that. Oh my God, I thought this is adorable. So I got this, and I went to my work holiday Christmas party. I didn't want to be that girl vlogging, and then I saw like people taking a bunch of photos and filming themselves, so I asked my friend to at least like give me some footage of their entrance, okay, because I wasn't gonna be that girl. But it was a lot of fun. I had a coworker gas me up, okay, take some photos. That was cool. Now I'm back and we're gonna get into the nitty-gritty. But again, we aren't going to get granular. I just think that her prose in this book are just absolutely stunning. And there are two poignant moments that I feel just were stand out so far. And that is when we meet Damien and when we meet Rasputin. And just the way in which she describes the first time Anastasia meets Damien or introduces his character was pivotal. And I don't know if I said this before, but her words are so visceral. And I'm gonna refer to my phone even though I have my iPad, because I immediately highlighted and screenshotted it. I knew I was gonna talk about this. It's cinematic in that I think what her writing is doing really parallels to what I like in film a lot. I mean, we have the classic 360 shot that's disorienting. We are all conditioned by film to show us that that's like, you know, a moment. We've got that classic slow motion moment, especially when you think about a rom-com and the love interest is like what, walking by. And there's this moment in this book where I think that she's doing a variety of different things at one time. Okay, not only does it bring like just a weight to the situation, right? It also felt like something that I could grasp onto in terms of relating just those moments in my life that I've had that are just so heightened, whether it was me being a kid and being in trouble and knowing that it was my behind, okay? And I could just like hear every single breath from my parents. Or a moment of just utter glee that just slows down a crush. Which, you know, I read a lot of romance, but I don't, quite frankly, I don't enjoy them. It feels like someone has a joystick, okay? And I have no control. But just, she telegraphs this moment so well. And it also introduces, I would say, the magic. And starting this book out, I was so concerned about the mechanics of it all, the system, how is it going to be? And I forgot that Sophie always adds that extra element. And not only can we see it, it's felt, at least for me while reading it. And it's just like, when this happened, because I'm going to share it, I got just like a chill, just a chill. And I knew that this was going to be like a marker in their development and Anastasia as a character. Not just because of what's actually happening, but the way that it's described and how that moment kind of activates something, or I think it's going to be activating something. I hope this is like, I mean, it's Sophie, so she's probably going to tie this thing up like a French braid, but I've got to read this, okay? This is after Damien does something. And she says, I was falling through the air from the dais to the grass, but I was the only thing moving. The gray stallion paused, hooves wheeling through space. The crows pulsed their wings with aching slowness, then stilled, hanging suspended in the air. The flag stopped flapping, the fabric an arrested wave. Even the ripples of dry grass halted as the wind held its breath. I'd never felt such stillness. The whole world paused around me. I just, I feel like I can see it and I can feel her alarm and the awareness of that situation. And I have felt that in my life, not to the extent of what's going on in this, but just like I mentioned, those slow-mo moments in life. And then it also introduces the magic. And I just felt like, oh, this is poignant. She's writing her damn butt off. Now, when she meets Rasputin, I love how she captures the sort of like allure of him, that soothsaying elixir, that intrigue, and also that sort of bewitching quality of him. And very simply, because I have another one, but that was long, I will just mention this one. I mean, I love dense prose that just have depth and weight. Okay, and this is what she says about Rasputin. His voice was soft and rich, deep and gentle. It caressed me like the breeze sliding over my cheek, through my ears, down my spine. It put pictures in my head. It just telegraphs so much and like just succinctly for me. And I also feel like that not only does it introduce Rasputin, I like how that moment really captures how he's being introduced to Anastasia as well. And that was really pivotal. And so just the magic in this is immensely felt. And I'm loving it so much. It starts when she is a child. And, you know, I like being able to see that because I'm getting to know each character and also how their magic is specific to them. And also this just whole world that she's been like brought up in and sort of their reign at this point, because I know that that's going to be dismantled and I know that it's going to be changed. And, you know, why they were willing to let the freaking fox in, you know, why they were willing to, or desperate enough to allow Rasputin in. It's just like, it's getting me. I'm loving the prose. I have gotten Damien's perspective at this point, and so I'm just gonna continue reading. Like I said, I think this is some of the best writing that I've I've read from her. I'm like just kind of getting lost in it, and I'm loving the artwork, and I'm loving the playlist, and it's just an experience, and I'm engrossed in just the whole, just their way of life at this point. It's sort of like slice of life day by day, and also they are separate, like, you know, that's all I'm gonna say. I've said a lot. I will be back when I have read more. I do plan on continuing to pick up my novellas a day. I am thinking about picking up another holiday read because this isn't something that I feel like I can read at work and like steal paragraphs. I really want to be home and kind of engrossed and lost in it. So I will check in when I have read more. I've been talking for a minute. See you soon. we gotta talk about Holly dates, okay? I'm sorry I haven't popped in sooner. I also have a novella, okay? Matzho and Mistletoe was a 5-star read. I'm rating Holly Dates by Brittainy Cherry a 5-star as well. There are certain aspects of it that I could pick up, but I don't want to. And it just brought me so much joy. Holly is a freaking riot. The hilarity, the swoon, and the vulnerability in this book, as well as like, just, it's festive, okay? We meet Holly on Christmas Eve, her wedding day, and she's jilted at the altar. And on that same day of losing her fiance, she loses her best friend because her best friend was the other woman. And yet, after a time jump of, I think it's like around a year or so, we meet her when she is like treating dating like a freaking full-time job. It's just like the way that she has this sort of childlike wonder and nature, while also harboring an incredible amount of trauma because of that event. And like melancholy, being that as a romance writer, she has yet to write since that day. I just love the way that she approaches life. Just the comedy of it all, while also like having those heavier aspects. I found her to be incredibly relatable, and I just loved it. And it grates so nicely against the hero, where, you know, Holly is now ready to move on, or at least for the holidays, because that is a sting, what happened, that has carried on over into her family. And so like her mother really wants to see her happy, and her mother's always asking about who she's seeing next, and she wants to bring somebody home for the holidays. So she's speed dating, okay, basically. But it's so funny to me because she has a meet ugly with our hero Kai. I've been calling him Kai. It's spelled Kai, okay? As I've said before on this channel, I am a woman that loves to learn, and I don't mind instruction, so you can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But they have this meet ugly where they bump into each other. She's just about to get to the perfect steamy scene in her book, okay? And all of this alcohol spills onto her, ruins her book. He's pissed off because she wasn't looking where she was going, and like this is the inventory for his restaurant. And she finds said restaurant because it's really close to their apartments. So this is also kind of like a next door situation. And she sees this restaurant as being her like new Cheers, which I thought was hilarious that there was a Cheers reference, because after they have this meet ugly and she finds the perfect restaurant to have all of her first dates at, she runs into the hero again. And she's just like, what are you doing here? This was supposed to be my Cheers, where everyone knows my name. And I just freaking love her. I just thought her freaking sense of humor was absolutely just spot on. It's a bright spot. It's one that he can't look away from. And he is annoyed by her, but I think it's also because he's secretly pining. And he watches her go on a series of dates in this restaurant that are just disastrous. And because he wants to get her out of there and on to a second date, he decides to like step in and start vetting these suckers, and he becomes her dating coach. And I just love the mashup between them, her like jovial spirit and like his like grump, and also how it's almost as if he sees her as the queen that she is, and so he's teaching her not to give so much of herself, and like how to raise the standard and really like land someone and not give them all of that charm, that beam, that light in the first go. And so I loved them together. I love that this turns into a fake dating situation because they go to her, you know, she ends up taking him back home. So all of like the Christmas festivities. I love that he has, you know, a wound as well when it comes to relationships, how he is basically taking care of his younger brother that's in high school. So that's really sweet. And he has his own familial issues. And so going back home with her is just kind of like a pivotal moment, because she's loved immensely so. And like all of the traditions that they have this time away really lends itself well to them sharing a lot of vulnerabilities. And there is a moment in this book, an act of freaking care that like bumped the rating up for me when it came to the hero. There are so many books that I have read with, you know, aftercare, because I'm a woman that loves a BDSM romance. And for him to wash her hair, for him to wash her hair in this book and like ask her about the products that he's observed her using for her hair, and to like wash her hair, to have a black heroine get to have that sort of like aftercare moment. One, I always think it's like, there's a couple other books, there's only 2, so I couldn't even do a video, but there's a couple other books where I'm like, she was willing to get her hair wet during steam. That was like a marker that like, whoa, this is serious. But here, like to have him wash her hair and ask about the products and the steps and to like bathe her, I'm spoiler, sorry, but it happened. I'm sorry, I should have probably warned you, but like that just, oh, it took me out. And so there are just a lot of moments like that where they're there for one another and supportive, that like just made this sing. And it's absolutely hilarious. Okay, I've said enough about the Holly dates, but I absolutely loved it. Like this delivered for me on so many levels. I also read Matzho and Mistletoe. If I'm saying Matzho wrong, you know, just let me know. But this was compelling as well. The heroine always volunteers through her synagogue on Christmas. And I thought she was gonna be like, I don't know, passing out turkeys or something. She's volunteering at the local precinct. Like she's at the police station. And every single year for the past 5, she's done a ride along with the same cop. And there's always been tension between them, because this is a respite for her. This is time away from her very abusive relationship. And so that is something that she still harbors and still wears in her demeanor, and she's recently divorced. And I like how the author chose to hit on the emotional, because it's not always physical, and how she carries that. Also, you know, our hero has been in love with this woman for years, and so he's elated that she is now divorced, yet now that he knows the nature of that marriage, he's afraid to really pursue her. He doesn't want to scare her off, because he does have dominant needs, and he doesn't want to, you know, alarm her with those. And so it is forced proximity while she's volunteering, and a slow unraveling and reveals as to the mutual pining between them, the nature of the kind of relationship that he feels that he needs and what he feels he needs to give her. He's very patient with her. This is really like a good like entry point as well to BDSM, because he's very clear about hard limits. I cannot stand in books when they're like, oh, I'm just willing to do it all. Everyone has hard limits. I love how he makes that clear. And I love how she advocates for herself in this book. This is the last thing I'm going to say. We also get like a, you know, like snowed in, like cozy vibes too, situation. So like, you know, we're going away, we're going on trips, like this is moving. But one thing I really loved about this too is that although she's a survivor, the representation that she can still put her foot down and voice that she doesn't want to be treated like a porcelain doll because of the trauma that she sustained. I loved that as well. Okay, so I also have shared that I'm not very fond of like virginal heroines. Like I read them, obviously, you know, and I'm very quick to pick up a virgin hero. So like I'm a complete like hypocrite. It's bad. But what I loved about is there was like a real reason as to why like she's sort of learning certain things. And I just like how he recasts Steam. So that was a 5-star read for me. I highly suggest that you read it. It's not on KU though, so I would understand if you don't, but I thoroughly enjoyed that. I would say that The Christmas Blanket by Candy Steiner and this book by Jodie Griffin, you see the cover, are like the 2 standouts in terms of like being festive, but also like doing something a little bit more, or being festive, but also I think I would enjoy reading them any time of year, although The Christmas Blanket obviously is themed, but just the themes that are hit stand out, creme de la creme. And I'm still reading Anastasia. And that's all I'm gonna say. In my next wrap-up clip, I'm gonna come back to you with that finished, hopefully. And hopefully I get to my bookish advent calendar book. Christy, I'm gonna pick it up. Anastasia's just been taking over, so this has been fun. Like, this whole like vlogging, taking you guys along with me. Like Vegas, there's like a ton of just stuff to do here, so for the holidays, and I'm really excited. Like, my whole family's flying out into Vegas. We rented an Airbnb, so it's gonna be fun to just celebrate with them, because I originally didn't know that I was gonna have like a couple days off, but it's gonna be nice to like do all of those things. This is my second Christmas here with family, and check it out. So anyway, I'm musing, but I'll be back when I have more thoughts on Anastasia specifically. Sophie. She bled on those pages. I don't even remember, okay, what we last spoke about. The reveal in this book. Oh my gosh, this is such a fitting, fantastical, revisionist, historical sort of musing about how things could have gone. Of course, in this fictional setting, but like, oh my God. I just think it worked so well as to what the reveal is. It makes sense. Also, in that like little part, because I'm going to talk about part 5 and 6, and I'm just going to, I will not drag on. I won't drag on. I'm really trying not to. I'm going to try not to drag on, but I just loved being able to clock the research. Okay. I know that this is heavily researched. And so I'm going to try to like lean towards maybe like events that we know, because I said I wasn't going to give like specific plot points, but the reveal though took me all the way out. I feel like she's doing a thing that I'm not going to compare her to other authors, but I think that she does this very well. Okay. It was very compelling. And if you like other authors that are doing fantasy things in this realm, then you should pick this up. And I'm looking forward to the next series that she wants to work on. Okay, but I will just start out by saying that I just loved that after that reveal, it just made the beginning sort of slice of life and introduction into what Anastasia's world paradigm, her realm that she's sort of sequestered in. It made that sing, because there's a moment in this book where she gets out of that and she's actually in the city, and she notes the change in the social sentiments, the change in the fact that the court, there's an actual line, and I told myself I wasn't going to do quotes, and we were just going to get this out, but where she talks about the shift in the city and how the court is no longer in touch with that, and how where it was once that there were only enemies of Rasputin. Now they are just simply friends. And when did that occur? How did that occur? And I just love how she just kind of clocks that. It's like a powder keg. You know, it's just ready to burst and explode. So I just loved, like, you can feel it churning, 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 churning. And part 5 and part 6, I mean, they gutted me. They gutted me, they gutted me, they gutted me. I felt like it captured, if we want to talk about historical context here, it captures everything that Anastasia lost, you know, like that just stark, cold, and dark existence compared and placed in juxtaposition to what we got in the beginning. That's where I'm like, oh, I mean, it comes full circle. And oh, the romance in this, how it almost feels as though they needed to be separated and built up and have their own journeys independently, you know, so that they could come together. And there's a really interesting thing that she's doing, okay? She's a really interesting thing she's doing in part 5 and 6 that I just was just like, whew. And the steam in this, it's more emotional. It's immensely felt because of the journeys that they went on as individual characters, as well as together. Those like inches and seconds that make a moment, second chances. I'm gonna stop. But it just, this was good. This was so good. And there is one meditation that I'm gonna just quickly talk about. I'm sorry. That was like, you know, in 5 and 6, where I felt like this in There Is No Devil. There are no devils. I'm sorry if I'm getting that wrong right now at the top of my head, but like there's just this musing about carrying out one's artistry. And when we lean into our passions until the bitter end, that illuminates everything. There's such a drive and there's such a heart to strong side characters, okay, in this book that just moved me. I loved that meditation. There's just a particular character that I'm obsessed with. I mean, I'm obsessed with her vigor, right? She's badass. I just, and also seeing the growth of Anastasia as a woman and as a princess of the people. It was just standout and beautiful, and these pros were hitting, okay? She did that. Anyway, I loved it. I'm rating it 5 stars. The arcs of Damien and Anastasia, as they just, they just landed in such a beautiful way. And she tied this thing up like a French braid. It's full circle. I loved this book. I'm gonna stop. So go get Anastasia. Get it from Barnes & Nobles at this point, because I don't know what Amazon's doing. It's on there, it's off there. But I am excited for the live show. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to talk to her, to hear her talk about her work and the process. And I'm just freaking excited. I'm so excited about it. I've also started my bookish advent calendar pick, okay, Up All Night with the Duke by Amy Rose Bennett. And I haven't gotten that far along in this, but I will say I like our heroine. She starts out, Artemis, as a finishing school teacher, and she's being chastised for giving the girls an education outside of what society expects from them. She believes that women should be educated, period. And I love like the fact that she's being reprimanded for giving out contraband reading material, and that she has aspirations, and that this is just a stop along the road for her. She gets called by a friend to help out during the season, and so she goes to London. And I kind of like her grit, her sense of humor. She's witty and she's smart. Also, I've been introduced to the Duke. the dastardly Duke. There is rumors that he may have murdered his wife. He is a widow. He's a single father, and he has this unruly 15-year-old girl that he just doesn't know what to do with. And he's looking for a wife. His prospects are low because of these rumors, and he's looking for an heir. And I have been introduced to their meet cute, which happens in a bookstore where he's looking for material for his daughter because she's not interested in anything that's in the house, and she gives him Jane Austen recommendations. Like, I just think their bumping was just like really cute, and the banter already, you know, was just, sparks were flying, and I like that he's already clocking her mind, and she's a little quirky, and so I'm already enjoying this. I should have read the back more, but I'm just kind of going into it blind and enjoying it, and it's washing over me, and so I will definitely finish this before this video is out. But Anastasia just kind of like took over my life there for a few days, and it just, I'm telling you, the way that they approach everything, the Larks, is fresh. I am so appreciative of every piece of artwork in that book. The playlist, like I said, she bled on the page, and I'm very excited to talk about it. So I will be back when I have finished this freaking book. Okay, we'll say that. When I have finished this, so I can get this vlog out at some point. See you soon. Okay, so I decided to extend this vlog. It's basically, for me, the night of the 11th. For you, early 12th, okay? And I have a few novellas to talk about, but I do want to start by closing out Up All Night with the Duke, okay? Because this was just new to me author. Hopefully I can get a second book in. I'm really excited about one of the characters in this book, Lucy, who calls her to London, okay, for help in the season. I loved her friendships in this. The book club is amazing, but I wasn't expecting this to turn into a sort of like marriage of convenience or engagement of convenience, because she decides that she wants to stage her own ruining so that she can kind of get her off of her back, and also still be around in London so she can ferret out a sponsor for a college for young women. And I just find her character to be admirable. She was smart, she was witty, and what I loved about her being a romance author in this time is that we're not dealing with a virgin heroine here, okay? We're not dealing with someone that's inexperienced. And with Dominic, the Duke in need of a wife, the Duke in need of a mother for his 15-year-old daughter, he, as a single father, is not caught up in his head about his intrigue with her, okay? He addresses it head on and is systematic, and I just loved how he was willing to be lured and bewitched, and how he was smitten with her mind. I loved that about Dominic. He goes for it. And what turns into a sort of ruination plot that she orchestrates, or rather what comes from it being a engagement of convenience, is because of him. He sort of takes the reins in that situation. And I loved the way in which she helps his daughter, how they sort of can bond for the love of books, and really his daughter is a fan of her work, and so I love that. And I also enjoyed how loving of a father he was. And there's so many moments in historicals where we have that like awkward moment of the talk, and he really steps in and plays just really like loving and supportive and like hoping for the best father figure in this book. And so I loved that about him. I also love the modernity of it all. I love like a spicy carriage moment. We got that in here, but on a train, and it was just delightful. I really enjoyed them as a couple. And like I said, I just liked how headstrong Dominic was and how he was just gone for her, unraveling. And also how she really settled down into his life and was that person. And how she does play that role with his daughter so well. I'm very interested, okay, in Lucy's book. I really want more. Well, I'm gonna rate it probably 4.5 stars. Like, honestly, I really loved this book. I'm trying not to like give major plot points because I feel like in my last vlog I basically told you all about his mistress for Christmas, and so this is something that you can put on your TBR, and after all of the holiday festivities have come to a close, you can still pick this up next year. And so I don't want to like get too far into like the plot points, but I gotta say I really enjoyed her as a heroine. I loved how he was just smitten and willing to go for it. And she's also a mature heroine. I believe she's like 29. So ambitious, so ahead of her time. And she's headstrong, but like she isn't annoying. I don't know how else to say that. It's not like hitting you over the head. She's just smart. You know, and the dialogue, the banter between them, their chemistry was just so good in this book, and it like delivered on the steam. Okay, that train scene. Anyway, so I loved this. Thank you, Christy. Okay, I mean, 'tis the season for revenge, and this, I'm just so thankful. Thank you so much for giving me this book. Okay, she gave me 3 books. It was kind of ridiculous, so I'm really appreciative. I'm so happy that I opened this. And I guess we're just gonna go through the novellas rapid fire because I started with Christmas on the 13th Floor, okay? And I just loved this. It's workplace, okay? He's stern, grumpy, harsh, and she's his personal assistant, and I love how she dishes it right back at him. And so there's this kind of like tumultuous sort of argumentative foreplay between them in this novella, and I love how it's mentioned that he needles her in such a way so that he can see her panting quite literally on the like ridiculous errands that he sends her on, because it's the only way that he gets to see her flush. He loves when she spits it right back at him and sees her as a brat tamer that is forbidden fruit that he cannot bite into. And she has the aspiration to leave this office, and I believe she was like an editor or a writer. She's working on articles. I like that she had something else going on other than this job, and that she wasn't willing to just take the crap that he was shoveling out at her. Also, I need more of this in novellas. Like, give me some novella Rex where the hero is like buying the heroine fashion, okay? It's just delectable. The dynamic between them and the fact that like she finally feels like she's gonna get a moment to herself, and he asks her to come to the Christmas party. The last thing that she wants to do is be at work longer than she has to be, and yet she goes, and it is in that where sparks fly and they sort of risk it all. So I really enjoyed Christmas on the 13th Floor. I liked the heat between them. It was sexy. It was hot. Okay. Next, I'm going to refer to my phone. Oh, yes. This was before the live show. I knew I needed to wind down, but I also was like awake. And so I read A Midnight Clear by Casey Bateman. This was a historical as well, Russian princess. Okay, she's on her way to London because of a snowstorm. She gets sort of snowed into a brothel of all places. And it's a mashup of all different classes in there. And her brother's best friend comes to rescue her. And this was really, really short, okay? It really hangs on like the history between them. I did like that there was like a Russian fable in there where she gets asked to share a story to everyone. And through that story, we kind of get her HEA. And so he comes and rescues her. There's declarations. It was sweet. Not very steamy, but I liked the sentiment of it, and it was short and sweet. Like, I was here for it. So I rated it a 3, which is interesting. But I still, like, think fondly of this. So I'm gonna stick with that. Then I got into Santa Baby by Cassie. Man, okay. And this, I liked their backstory. You know, the heroine was sort of like taken in by the hero, given a job at this bar. She was starting over, and she has always harbored a little crush on him. It's holiday season. You know, her coworkers are making fun at the fact that he looks like Santa. He always knows what they're doing. He's got the salt and pepper vibe, okay? Little does she know that he, in turn, has been pining, okay? It's not unrequited. And there's even sort of like a Santa moment, okay, that he does as an act of kindness and care towards her that I loved. I'm not going to ruin it because this is short, which places them into proximity in a way. And she is an inexperienced heroine, but it's kind of like hot with their dynamic, the sort of zaddy vibes, and the way that he makes her say what she would like, okay, because he doesn't want to step over any boundaries. So I enjoyed this, okay? It was a little bonkers, but I liked it. Next, I read Ho 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 by Risley Adams, and I was really interested in this one because it's about a heroine that's recently divorced. Her husband cheated on her. She sacrificed everything really to be with him, was faithful, and when her divorce is finalized and when the chlamydia has cleared, okay, due to his antics, she goes to a bar and she kind of just like dishes it all out to this bartender. And this picks up the year after where she runs into him again. It was just kind of like one of those like moments between them. And it was a moment, you know, one of those like missed connection type situations. And she runs into him again. And when she met him, she was talking about, you know, the whole tour that she wanted to go on. And she did. She had some fun experiences. They were steamy, they were great, but they were never him. And so in this moment, he gets to sort of take that role on for her, and she's reliving those moments, and it was cute. It wasn't the underscoring in terms of like that I was thinking it was going to be, but I still thought it was a great time. Great. My battery is dying. I also got this rec from Lauren. I'm going to throw her Instagram handle up because I absolutely love these just in case the camera dies. It's going to be Mountain Wish, okay, and Mountain Spark by Stella Banks. These were delectable, okay? And they're all centered around this restaurant that has these cookies that they sell. And it is set in this small town in the mountains that if you bite this cookie and you make a holiday wish, it will come true. And so I just love these. One is Friends to Lovers. That was Mountain Wish. He is famous now, back in town to do some promo for this restaurant. And he runs into his childhood crush. They've been friends, it's mutual pining, and they make that wish. But I think Mountain Spark was really it for me. I mean, it was enemies to lovers. They're co-owners of a restaurant, and it gave me the Snowden vibes that I wanted. It gave me the tension. They had great backstories, soul wounds, okay? This really went there, and I loved Mountain Spark. So I have to thank you, Lauren, and I'm gonna close out there. Sorry if I'm rushing, okay? I will see you in the next one. I'll try to get these out a lot sooner, but I had a really great time. I'm so excited about what's to come next.